Hey guys, former film student back here today with episode 12 of 31 Nights, 31 Frights, a series where I review a different horror film every day of October. So today we're going back to the 90s with the sequel to a film that I've already discussed in this series, that being Scream 2. So Scream 2 was yet again directed by Wes Craven and was released in 1997, only a year after the first film was released, and this film was actually my favorite movie in the Scream franchise when I was younger. Yes, when I was younger and when I watched the first three Scream films for the first time, I'm not sure what it was about it that made me enjoy it so much, but I just really liked this movie. I loved the college setting. I dug the idea of being really meta about sequels. They even have an entire scene in the film dedicated to talking about how sequels are, by definition, inferior to the original.
Oh, please. By definition alone, they're inferior films.
I dug the killer's motives. I loved the jokes that carry over from the original film. Like in the first Scream, they mentioned that Tori Spelling would probably play Sydney in a movie if there was a movie based off the Woodsboro killings, and then in this film they show a scene from Stab, which is the fictional movie based off of those killings, and they do have Tori Spelling play her, which I just thought was really funny and really clever. I really do wish that we would have gotten, though, to see a clip of David Schwimmer as Detective Dewey. I thought that would have been really funny. So upon my rewatch of this film, I have to admit I didn't enjoy it as much as I used to. It's been a bit since I've seen this movie. I usually just opt to watching the first Scream, and I just found myself in one of those scenarios where you watch a film that you remember really enjoying and just this time around not enjoying it as much as you used to. For me, I think this movie does feel a bit rushed. It didn't feel like they took the proper amount of time to develop and flesh out the script, as a lot of what happens in this film feels very reminiscent to the original. And in some aspects that sort of works as part of the new killer's MO is. However, it also makes the film just feel a bit repetitive. Even if some of it is intentionally done, I do think it holds the movie back. But there are other elements that make this movie less entertaining as well. The kills aren't as interesting as the first film. There's not as many memorable deaths, like Tatum in the first movie being killed by a garage door. I just think overall it did a lot of what the first movie did, but just not as good. What also bothered me were some of the main characters yet again miraculously surviving. In the first film it was more incidental than anything, but when it happens twice it feels like more of a cheap way to save characters for the next film in the franchise. That being said, this film does a lot of things really well. For starters, the cast of characters is yet again really great, and they're all pretty fun and likable. The returning characters like Sidney Prescott, Dewey, Randy, and Gale Weathers are great again, and I feel like they've grown a lot and their characters have developed. And even the new cast of characters are also nice additions. Yet again, Craven delivered us an amazing opening scene, this time taking place in a crowded movie theater. Despite me mentioning the kills not being super memorable, I do appreciate this opening scene a lot, and it felt very fresh and new. Whereas the opening scene in the first film was scary because it was a girl home alone in the middle of nowhere, the second film goes in the opposite direction and has the kills happening in front of a crowd of people without anyone suspecting it until she's dead. The star of the film again is Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott. She's the best part of this franchise through and through and delivers another badass performance. I love how they never make her feel like the damsel in distress, and they make her a tough badass woman without ever making it feel cheesy. It's never, oh, she's a martial artist with a black belt and can always hold her own. It's more of a, this girl has seen some shit and she's a stronger person because of it. I also appreciate showcasing some of the trauma that the first film caused her. This is a girl who saw several of her friends die and was almost murdered by her boyfriend and his best friend. That would fuck a person up, and they do a really good job of showing that in this film without it feeling melodramatic. All in all, Scream 2 is a film that's inferior to its predecessor in a lot of ways, but most films are. It does a lot of the same things and hits on a lot of the same beats, so it does lose some points for creativity and originality. However, it also does a lot of things right, and despite being an inferior sequel, it definitely is leagues better than a lot of other horror sequels. Well, that is it for today, guys. If you've seen Scream 2, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. Let me know where you'd rank it in the Scream franchise. Do you think it's a worthy sequel, or were you a bit disappointed by it? That is all I'm going to say today. As always, if you liked the video, make sure to click the like button, subscribe to me. If you want to hear more from me, click the little bell notification so you do get notified when I post new videos. And as always, I will see you guys on the next episode.